1979. American hostages in Tehran. U.S. Marines bombed in Beirut by Iranian-backed militants. Khobar Towers. 19 American soldiers killed. Iranian-backed militias targeting U.S. troops in Iraq. The killing of Qasem Soleimani. October 7th. The deadliest attack in Israel's history carried out by a movement armed and financed by Iran over decades. The United States goes to war with Iran directly. 6 presidents, both parties, every combination of diplomacy, sanctions, deterrence, and military force. And yet here we are. Tonight on the Daily Latitude, we ask the question that cuts through every headline about deals and ceasefires and memorandums of understanding. Why has every American approach to Iran failed to resolve the fundamental conflict? And what does that tell us about what comes after whatever deal gets signed right now? This is the analysis nobody wants to give you because the answer is uncomfortable. Stay with me. Welcome back to the Daily Latitude. Tonight is our Season 1 finale, and we are going out with our most ambitious analytical episode yet. Tonight's analysis is built around an essay by Brett McGurk, one of the most experienced American national security officials of the last 2 decades. He served in senior roles under 4 consecutive presidents: George W. Bush, Barack Obama, Donald Trump, and Joe Biden. He has been in the rooms where these decisions get made. His central argument is one that every serious analyst of the Middle East eventually arrives at, but that almost no politician will say out loud. The conflict between the United States and Iran is not a policy problem that better tactics can solve. It is a structural, ideological conflict rooted in the founding DNA of the Islamic Republic itself. And until the nature of that regime changes, the conflict will continue regardless of who sits in the White House. That is a sobering conclusion. Tonight we examine whether it is correct. Let's start with the historical pattern, because it is the foundation of the entire analytical argument. For 47 years, across 10 presidential administrations, the United States has tried essentially every available tool in its foreign policy toolkit against Iran. The Obama administration negotiated the most comprehensive nuclear agreement in history, the JCPOA. It placed real, verifiable constraints on Iran's nuclear program. It unlocked billions in frozen assets, and it was designed to test whether economic reintegration could moderate Iran's regional behavior. The analytical result? Iran took the economic relief and then continued, largely unchanged, its regional agenda. Supreme Leader Khamenei publicly predicted Israel would not exist within 25 years. Trump's first term took the opposite approach: maximum pressure, withdrawal from the JCPOA, crushing sanctions, the killing of Soleimani. The argument was that enough pressure would force Iran to the negotiating table on American terms. The analytical result? Iran's nuclear program accelerated. Its regional network proved more resilient. Now, in Trump's second term, the United States has gone further than any previous administration. Direct strikes inside Iranian territory, the killing of senior Iranian leadership, military operations that have significantly degraded Iran's missile and nuclear infrastructure. And yet, even now, a deal is being negotiated rather than a capitulation being accepted. Because Iran, battered, economically devastated, militarily degraded, has not collapsed. And its new supreme leader this week doubled down on his predecessor's objectives. The pattern is consistent across 5 decades. American tactics can degrade Iranian capabilities. They cannot change Iranian ideology. To understand why this pattern persists, you need to understand how the Iranian system was specifically designed. Iran's constitution does not assign the IRGC a purely defensive military role. It assigns it an ideological mission of, and this is the actual constitutional language, jihad in God's way. Over decades, the IRGC built the infrastructure to fulfill that mandate. The Quds Force spent decades constructing networks of armed partners across the Middle East: Hezbollah in Lebanon, Hamas in Gaza, the Houthis in Yemen. This network was not built for defensive purposes. It was built to project Iranian revolutionary influence and to create what strategists call strategic depth against American and Israeli power. Even if you destroy conventional military capabilities, the network persists. It is independent financing, independent command. October 7th demonstrated this with devastating clarity. The network operates with its own momentum. Degrading the center does not automatically degrade the periphery. So now let's apply this historical and structural analysis to the deal currently being negotiated. What can a U.S.-Iran Memorandum of Understanding realistically achieve? It can reopen the Strait of Hormuz, restoring global oil flows and reducing economic pain for ordinary families worldwide. That is a genuinely significant near-term outcome. It can impose new formal constraints on Iran's nuclear enrichment program, potentially setting back the timeline for nuclear weapons capability by years. That matters. It can create a structured framework for ongoing negotiations, replacing the current cycle of military confrontation with a diplomatic process. These are real and meaningful outcomes, but here's what the deal cannot achieve. And this is the uncomfortable analytical truth at the heart of tonight's episode. It cannot change the constitutional mandate of the IRGC. It cannot dismantle the regional proxy network that took decades to build. It cannot alter the ideological objectives of a revolutionary system. Critically, even as Washington and Tehran were negotiating this week to reopen the strait, the IRGC was caught laying new mines, simultaneously negotiating and sabotaging. McGurk's analytical conclusion is that what we should expect after any deal is not peace. It is a cycle: confrontation, temporary de-escalation, renewed confrontation. That cycle has repeated across 5 American presidencies, and the structural conditions that produce it remain in place regardless of what gets signed. There is one condition under which the cycle could genuinely break: political change inside Iran, not regime modification. Fundamental change in the nature of the state itself. That could come from several directions: economic collapse, producing a genuine uprising, internal elite fracturing, or a generational shift. None of these can be engineered from outside. None of them are guaranteed or imminent. What is guaranteed analytically is that the United States will face this challenge again under Trump's successor, and likely the successor after that. Here is tonight's analytical bottom line. Every American president has faced Iran. Everyone has tried different tools. None has resolved the fundamental conflict, not because they lacked skill or determination, but because the conflict is rooted in something that external pressure alone, military, economic, or diplomatic, cannot change. A deal that reopens the Strait of Hormuz is worth having. It buys time. But anyone who tells you this deal ends the Iran challenge is not giving you analysis. They are giving you hope dressed up as strategy. The honest conclusion is that Iran's challenge will outlast Trump, and it will require sustained strategic patience across administrations of both parties. That is the uncomfortable truth behind the headlines. Thank you for watching Season 1, 9 episodes, 9 major stories, all covered analytically, no spin, no noise, just the facts. Season 2 is coming. Subscribe so you do not miss it. I'm your host. This is the Daily Latitude. No spin, no noise, just the analysis that matters. See you in Season 2.